shared this picture on Instagram of my heatless curls and I asked if you guys wanted to see a tutorial on it, and it was a resounding yes. This is a technique I've seen trending all over the internet, but I've seen some really horrendous results. And I think a lot of that is due to the way that the hair has been curled around. I'm going to do it a little bit differently. There are plenty of other people that will have done the same technique, but for me, when I curl my hair with a wand, I like to do it in different directions. So I went with the same technique using the Robe. I washed my hair a couple of hours ago. I always kind of go over it with a brush and a hairdryer on a cool setting. It can be completely heatless. You do not have to dry your hair with a hairdryer. So you're only going to need a couple of items for this tutorial. No products, no heat, and actually no tools as such. First off, you're going to need a robe tie. It's relatively long, so if you've got super long hair, you can still do this technique. I'm not going to be too precious about making it perfect. I'm just going to run my finger down my ordinary parting and just make sure that's roughly where it is. I'm going to do the same all the way down the back, so to the middle of the head. It does not have to be perfect because you're only going to be sleeping on it. So I just always like to get one side of my hair out the way. What we want to do is take the robe, find the two ends and make sure you've got the middle of it. And that is where you're going to place your robe, on the middle of your head. Then I like to take a bobby pin and just use that to secure it in place while you're creating your overnight curls. You don't need to sleep in it. Once you've done the technique, you can remove it. I know I've already started, but I'm going to show you the full technique on this side. But I want you to understand the process. The robe is going to stay in place the entire time. All we're doing is a really simple technique. We're taking the first strand across the front of the robe, taking it around the back of the robe and back out the other side. And then with this section, we're going to do exactly the same. It's going to come across the front of the robe, around the back of the robe and back out the other side. And I'm going to show you on the other side how to pick up hair at the same time. When you take your large sections, because they need to be quite large if you want them not to be too tight, the smaller you do, the tighter the curl will be. But when you take each of your large sections, don't forget to go from the outer edge and go all the way to the centre, even underneath the robe. And then we've got each section then right to the centre. Does that make sense? Because if you don't pick up any of this section through here, because you're not going all the way to meet in the middle, then those parts won't take on any shape. And taking large sections is what's going to give you volume. I found with this look I had so much volume, and it's because I used large sections. So taking my first section, I'm starting with the front one. It's about 1.5 inches both ways. I'm going to work with this section first before I take my second section, which will be directly behind it. So what we're doing is we're taking that over the front of the robe, wrapping it all the way around the back, and it comes back out where it started. So it's literally just wrapping around the robe. It's such a simple technique. Then I'm taking the section directly behind the first section, again about 1.5 inches wide, 1.5 inches in depth, taking that across the front of the robe, wrapping it underneath the robe and back out where it started. I do find it easier to swap the hair into opposite hands just to make it easier, a bit like when you're doing a French braid. Here I've placed the front section into my other fingers for ease. I'm picking up a new section to add to that section, and then that's going across the front of the robe. You then wrap it around the back of the robe and back out to the other side where it started. I'm trying to do it slow so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Here I'm taking the back section and just slipping it between the fingers of my other hand for ease, while I pick up a new section of hair and slip that between the fingers as well. So you can see we've added hair to our back section. We're now going to wrap that around the back of the robe all the way until it's back where it started. It's similar to doing an ordinary French braid, except when you're using the robe through the centre, you kind of want to keep it as straight as possible, and you're never picking up hair with that section. So you're only ever picking up the front and the back, and they always just wrap around the back to where they started. It's a lot easier when you're doing it because you are literally just wrapping each strand around the back of the robe. Watching it might look a bit more fiddly because I tend to slip the hair between the opposite hand each time just to make it easier for me to wrap it around, so I don't lose each section while I pick up a new piece of hair. From the back you can see that the hair that I'm picking up comes all the way from the parting right along underneath the robe, so that part that lays underneath the robe is going to take on shape. As you follow the shape of your head down to the nape of your neck, you do want to pull the strands in slightly tighter so it follows the shape of your head, otherwise you'll end up with it looking quite baggy towards the bottom. Once you've got no more hair to collect, you just go back to the very first technique that I showed you. You just wrap the right side over the front of the robe all the way around the back until it comes back out where it started, and then you're going to take the left side, wrap that over the front all the way around the back of the robe until it comes back out, and you're going to repeat that all the way down until it creates a shape that you can see that I've already created. If you've never tried this technique before, you could place the robe on the top of your head and just practice at the bottom, wrapping your hair around the robe at the bottom just to get the technique, and then you'll find it's a lot easier when you're adding the hair in because you already know what you're doing. Some people like to use scrunchies. I find if I sleep in a scrunchie it would just come out, so I use the tiny clear elastics. So I've done both sides, and as you can see this is what it looks like. So I've got a little bit extra here, so you can literally wrap it round on itself, bring it round to the front, tie it up. So I crisscross them at the back, bring them round to the front and then tie them up. If I've done this and it's too early for bed like now, then I will tie it up so it's not dangling around, getting caught underneath my arms or, you know, sitting on it. So I've not used any product, I'm just going to sleep on these and take them out tomorrow. So I'm going to go take my makeup off, get into bed, and I will see you tomorrow. Morning guys! So this is my hair. I've slept on it all night, so I'm going to undo it. I've had it up this morning just to get it out of my way. A little bit of fuzz going on from having slept on it, but that's fine. So I'm going to take out my little elastic bands. So when you take these out, you want to be really careful that you don't disturb the actual curls until you start to shake them out. You don't want them to go too fuzzy. Now remember, I've had no product on this, and this is just taken from having it wrapped around the dressing robe tie. Gosh, look at that, it's so good! Super curly. Like the Cowardly Lion. So this is how it initially comes out, but you need to shake it out. I think you'll agree it's pretty impressive considering there's no product in my hair. And the nice thing is the curls are going in different ways, so you don't end up with just that kind of one look. Everyone else's hair is getting tangled and a little bit frizzy, and I think it's because it's all going one way. Oh my gosh, it's so nice! It's like 80s curls. Oh god, I love it. It is so nice. I don't know why I'm getting super excited. I've already done it once, but it's so good because it gives you so much volume at the root because the hair is pulled over the robe, or robe tie. I'm just going to call it a robe. So yeah, if you're looking for voluminous, heatless curls with no product that you can just sleep in overnight or wear in the morning and should be done by the evening, if you're going out, then look no further. This is so good. I love it. Nice thing is as well, the curl is right to the root. If you want them to be a little looser, then you can take bigger sections, and then when you weave it behind the robe, just make sure you take it longer, like down. I did mine quite close together, but if you do them longer and drag them down the length of the robe, you will get a softer wave. So let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Please, please give it a go. I'm sure you're going to absolutely love it if you love curls. Even if you've got naturally curly hair, it's a great way to tame your natural curls if they're ordinarily quite frizzy. You could apply a serum to your hair first, then wrap it up, sleep on it, and that will help to tame your frizz and tame your curls. As always, please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Come follow me outside of YouTube for more behind the scenes. If you've got any comments or suggestions, leave them in the comment section below and I will do my best to get back to you. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next week. Bye.